The woman's breath was ragged, her fingers digging into Emma's wrist. "You weren't supposed to marry him." Emma tried to pull away. "I don't know you." "Listen to me." The woman's eyes were wild, darting down the empty corridor. "You need to leave, tonight." "Who are you?" "Someone who survived." Her voice cracked. "Barely." "Survived what?" The woman leaned closer, her whisper almost inaudible. "His family." A door slammed somewhere in the house. The woman's face drained of color. "They're coming. Don't trust anyone, especially not the women." She released Emma's wrist and ran, her footsteps echoing until they disappeared into silence. Emma stood frozen, her wedding dress suddenly feeling like a shroud. Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Afro-Korean Story Vault, the hub of great stories. This isn't just a love story, it's a survival story. Subscribe now to this channel. You'll need to see how this ends. Emma's heart hammered as she returned to the reception hall. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light across faces she barely knew. Dominic's family, their friends, people who smiled with too many teeth. Her husband stood by the grand piano, laughing at something his mother said. When he saw Emma, his expression shifted. Not concern. Calculation. He crossed to her in 3 strides. "Where were you?" "Bathroom." The lie came easily. "I needed a minute." Dominic's hand found the small of her back, fingers pressing just slightly too hard. "You look pale." "I'm fine." "My mother wants to speak with you." Not a suggestion. Emma followed his gaze. The woman stood near the fireplace, silver hair pulled into a severe bun, diamonds at her throat, eyes like a hawk tracking prey. "Now?" Emma asked. She doesn't like to be kept waiting. As Dominic guided her across the room, Emma caught fragments of conversation. "Lovely ceremony, though I wonder how long. His father's 3rd wife only lasted 6 months. Such a shame about the last one." The voices cut off when Emma approached. Dominic's mother, Vivian, smiled, but it didn't soften her face. "Emma, you look overwhelmed." "It's been a wonderful day." Weddings always are. Vivian's eyes traveled over Emma's dress, her hair, her face, like she was appraising livestock. The estate can be disorienting for newcomers. So many rooms, so many rules. Rules? Emma's mouth felt dry. Family traditions, nothing onerous. Dominic will explain. Vivian touched Emma's cheek with cold fingers. "You have lovely bone structure, strong. That's good." Before Emma could respond, Vivian glided away, leaving behind the scent of roses and something bitter underneath. "What did she mean by that?" Emma whispered. Dominic's jaw tightened. "She's just particular. Don't worry about it." But Emma was worried, especially when she noticed Dominic's 2 sisters watching from across the room, their identical faces blank, their hands folded in identical positions. Twins. He'd mentioned them once, never by name. "Why are they staring at me?" "They're curious. You're new. They look like they're waiting for something." Dominic pulled her closer, his voice dropping. "Emma, you're exhausted. Let's get you to bed." It was barely 10 o'clock. The estate sprawled across the clifftop like a sleeping beast. Gothic spires pierced the night sky. Wings stretched in 4 directions, connected by shadowed corridors. A maid led them through the east wing, her footsteps silent, her face carefully neutral. She didn't make eye contact with Emma. "This is your suite," she said, opening carved double doors. The bedroom was enormous, vaulted ceilings, walls lined with burgundy silk, a 4-poster bed that could fit 6 people. Mirrors everywhere. Large ones, small ones, some tarnished with age. Emma counted 11 mirrors before she stopped. "Why so many?" she asked. The maid's hand twitched on the doorframe. "Family preference, ma'am." She left before Emma could ask anything else. Dominic loosened his tie, watching Emma in one of the mirrors. What do you think? It's a lot. You'll get used to it. He said it the way someone might say, you'll get used to the pain. Emma moved to the window. Below, the cliff dropped into churning black water. No beach, no escape route, just rocks and waves. Dominic. She turned. That woman in the hallway? What woman? Someone stopped me. She said I shouldn't have married you, that I needed to leave. Dominic went very still. What did she look like? Dark hair, thin, scared. Did she give you her name? No, but then she was no one. Dominic crossed to the door, checking the lock. Sometimes staff gossip, or wedding crashers, nothing to worry about. She knew things, Dominic. She knew about your family. Emma. He turned, his voice firm. You're tired. You're in a strange place. Your mind is playing tricks. My mind isn't enough. Not angry. Worse. Final. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be easier. He disappeared into the adjoining bathroom, leaving Emma alone with her reflections. She undressed slowly, avoiding the mirrors. When she finally lay in bed, the silk sheets felt like ice. Sleep came in fragments. Dark dreams of drowning, of hands pulling her under, of women screaming behind locked doors. She woke to silence. Dominic's side of the bed was empty. The clock read 3:47 a.m. Emma slipped out of bed, wrapping herself in a robe. The door to the hallway was locked from the outside. She tried the handle again. Definitely locked. Her pulse quickened. She crossed to the window. Locked. She tried the bathroom. Locked. Every exit sealed. Emma's breathing came faster. She pounded on the door. Dominic? Dominic! Nothing. She grabbed a hairpin from the vanity and worked it into the lock, her hands shaking. After 3 tries, something clicked. The door opened. The hallway stretched in both directions, lit by flickering sconces that cast dancing shadows. Every door was closed. Every sound muffled. Emma crept left, toward where she thought the main stairs might be. The floorboards didn't creak, too well maintained, too deliberate. She passed a door with scratches around the handle. Old scratches, desperate ones. Further down, she found a narrow staircase spiraling downward. She descended, one hand trailing the wall. The stairs ended in a small parlor. Dust covered every surface except one, a writing desk by the window. Someone had been here recently. Emma approached the desk. A piece of paper lay on top, edges crisp, ink fresh. Do not trust the women. They choose who stays. They choose who disappears. If you're reading this, you're being tested. Emma's hands shook as she grabbed the note. Looking for something? She spun. Vivian stood in the doorway, wrapped in a silk dressing gown, her silver hair loose around her shoulders. She looked younger, sharper. I got lost. Did you? Vivian glided forward. Or were you exploring? I couldn't sleep. The door was locked. For your safety. The estate has quirks, old wiring, faulty locks. We secure the rooms at night to prevent accidents. Accidents? Vivian's smile was thin. The previous tenant of your room had a tendency to wander. She fell down the east wing stairs. Tragic. Emma's blood ran cold. Previous tenant? Before you, dear. All the wives stay in that room eventually. It's tradition. Wives, plural. Dominic's been married before. Twice, actually. But you knew that. It wasn't a question. Emma hadn't known. Dominic had never mentioned previous wives. What happened to them? They left. Found the estate, too. Restrictive. Vivian picked up the note from the desk, her eyes scanning it without surprise. Someone's been leaving these around. Dramatic, isn't it? Former staff with grudges, probably. Pay it no mind. She crumpled the note and dropped it in a wastebasket. Now, Vivian continued, let me escort you back. You'll need your rest. Tomorrow we have the introduction. Introduction? To what? The family protocols. All new wives go through it. Nothing to worry about. Vivian's hand closed around Emma's elbow, her grip surprisingly strong. Unless you give us reason to worry. Emma didn't sleep the rest of the night. She lay rigid in bed, listening to Dominic's breathing beside her. He'd returned sometime after 4, smelling of cigars and something chemical. When morning light filtered through the curtains, he was already awake, sitting in a chair by the window, watching her. "How long have you been staring at me?" Emma asked. "Not long." He stood, moving to the bed. "Did you sleep?" "Some." She sat up. "Dominic, your mother said you'd been married before." His expression didn't change. "She told you that?" "Is it true?" "Yes." "How many times?" "Twice." "Why didn't you tell me?" Dominic sat on the edge of the bed, his hands clasped. "Because it didn't matter. Those marriages were mistakes. You're different." "What happened to them?" "They left. Both of them just left." "Emma." He took her hands. "My family is complicated, demanding. Not everyone can handle it, but you're stronger than they were. I know you are." "How do you know?" "Because I chose carefully this time." The phrasing made her stomach turn. Chose carefully, like she was a purchase, an investment. "Your mother mentioned protocols," Emma said. "What is that?" Dominic's jaw tightened. "Family expectations, standards of conduct. It's formal, but it's important to my mother." "And if I don't meet these standards?" "You will." He squeezed her hands. "Just follow my lead. Agree when asked. Don't volunteer information. And whatever you do, don't contradict my mother." "Why?" "Because she decides who belongs in this family, and who doesn't." The introduction took place in a room Emma hadn't seen before, a library with floor-to-ceiling books and windows that overlooked the cliff. Heavy curtains blocked most of the light. Vivian sat in a throne-like chair. The twins flanked her, silent sentinels in matching black dresses. 3 older women Emma didn't recognize sat on a nearby sofa, their eyes tracking Emma's every movement. Dominic led Emma to a chair facing them. He stood behind her, hands on her shoulders. "Emma," Vivian began, "welcome to your formal introduction. This family has survived for generations because we maintain certain principles." One of the older women spoke, her voice like gravel. "Loyalty above all." Another added, "Discretion is non-negotiable." The third, "Family secrets remain family secrets." Vivian continued, "You'll notice our home has particular rules. Doors lock at night, for safety. Certain wings are off limits, for structural reasons. Mirrors are never covered during the day, always covered at night. Tradition. You'll follow these rules without question." Emma's voice came out smaller than intended. "And if I have questions?" "You won't." Vivian's smile was ice. "Because Dominic will guide you, won't you, darling?" Dominic's fingers tightened on Emma's shoulders. "Of course." One of the twins finally spoke, her voice eerily similar to her sister's. The last wife had many questions. The other twin nodded. "She left in the middle of the night." "Without saying goodbye," the first added. "So rude," they said in unison. Emma's skin crawled. "Where did she go?" Silence descended like a weight. Vivian leaned forward. "We don't discuss those who leave. They've chosen to remove themselves from this family. They're dead to us." The phrasing, "dead to us," hung in the air. "Now," Vivian continued, "you'll receive your schedule. Morning prayers at 6, breakfast at 7, daily household inspection at 9, afternoon studies at 2, dinner at 7, bed at 10. Dominic will escort you to all family gatherings. Studies? Emma asked. Family history, protocols, expectations. One of the aunts will tutor you. Vivian gestured to the older women. They've trained all the wives. How many wives have there been? The room went still. Vivian's smile vanished. That's not an appropriate question. I just want to understand. Understanding comes with time and obedience, not questions. Vivian stood, the meeting clearly over. Dominic, show your wife to the East Library. Her first lesson begins in an hour. Dominic's hand closed around Emma's arm, pulling her to her feet. Thank you, Mother. As they left, Emma heard one of the twins whisper, She's too curious. The other replied, They always are at first. The East Library was smaller, older. Books lined the walls, but they looked untouched. A woman waited by the window, elderly, hunched, with eyes that had seen too much. I'm Aunt Margot, she said. Sit. Emma sat. Dominic remained by the door. Aunt Margot placed a leather-bound book on the table. No title, just a worn cover. This contains the family history. You'll memorize it. She opened to the first page. A family tree stretched across 2 pages. Names and dates going back centuries. The Ashford line, Margot said, has always been powerful. But power requires sacrifice. Emma scanned the tree. She noticed something odd. Most of the branches ended with women's names, followed by empty space where descendants should be. Why do so many lines end? She asked. Margot's finger traced one branch. Not all women can bear the weight of this family. What does that mean? It means some break, and broken things are removed. Emma's heart raced. Removed how? Margot turned the page without answering. Now, you'll learn the wives' oath. Repeat after me. I pledge my loyalty. No? Emma stood. I need answers first. Where are the previous wives? What happens to women who break? Why is everyone speaking in riddles? Dominic crossed the room, quickly. Emma, sit down. I want to know what I've gotten into. Sit down. His voice was steel. Emma had never heard him use that tone. She sank into the chair, her pulse hammering. Margot studied her with something like pity. You remind me of Catherine. She had fire, too. Who's Catherine? Dominic's first wife. Lovely girl, very curious. Margot closed the book. She lasted 8 months. Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. What happened to her? She failed her test. What test? Margot glanced at Dominic. He gave a small nod. Every wife is evaluated, Margot said. For strength, loyalty, discretion, the family presents challenges. How you respond determines whether you stay. And if you fail, then you're unsuitable for the Ashford name. Margot stood, her joints creaking. Lesson's over. Dominic, take her back to your room. She needs time to reflect. As they walked back through the corridors, Emma's mind raced. You knew about the test. You knew and you married. Me, anyway. I married you because I love you. Bullshit. She stopped, pulling her arm free. You brought me here to be evaluated like livestock, to see if I'm suitable. Emma, when were you going to tell me? After I failed? After I ended up like Catherine? Dominic grabbed her shoulders, his face tortured. I was trying to protect you. If I'd told you, you would have run, and they would have found you. This way, at least I can help you pass. Pass what, exactly? I don't know. His voice cracked. It's different for everyone, but I know you're strong enough. You have to be. Why? Because I can't lose you. He pulled her against his chest, his heart hammering. I can't lose another one. Emma pushed him away. How did you lose them? I don't know. They just disappeared. You don't know? I'm not allowed to know. Family business is handled by the women. I'm forbidden from interfering. He looked broken. If you fail, I can't save you. Do you understand? I'll be forced to let them take you. Take me where? I don't know. Desperation bled through his voice. No one tells me. The wives just vanish, and we never speak of them again. Emma's blood turned to ice. How many? What? How many wives have vanished? Dominic's silence was answer enough. Emma locked herself in the bathroom for an hour, hyperventilating. When she finally emerged, Dominic was gone. A tray of food sat on the bedside table. Tea, sandwiches, fruit. She hadn't ordered it. She stared at the tea, remembering Margot's words. Not all women can bear the weight. What if they were drugging her? Keeping her compliant? Emma dumped the tea in a potted plant and ate only the fruit she could peel herself. Night fell like a curtain. Dominic returned after dinner, exhausted, saying little. He locked the door from the inside and went to bed. Emma waited until his breathing evened, then crept to the door. She tried the handle. Locked from the outside, too. She was trapped. At 2 a.m., she heard it, the sound that had haunted her dreams. Crying. Muffled. Distant, but definitely human. Emma pressed her ear to the wall, following the sound. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Then she noticed the mirror beside the bed. The crying was louder there. She ran her hands along the mirror's frame. Something clicked. The mirror swung open like a door, revealing a narrow passageway. Emma grabbed a candle from the bedside table and stepped inside. The passage was tight, dusty, clearly unused. It twisted and turned, leading deeper into the estate's walls. The crying grew louder. Emma followed it until she reached a small grill in the wall. She pressed her face against it. Below, in a room she'd never seen, a woman sat in a chair. Her wrists were bound. Her face was gaunt, and she was crying. One of the aunts stood before her, holding something Emma couldn't see. Last chance, the aunt said. Will you recant? I didn't do anything wrong, the woman sobbed. I just asked questions. Inappropriate questions, dangerous questions. Please, I have a daughter. Had. You had a daughter. Past tense. The aunt's voice was cold. You forfeited your family when you betrayed ours. I didn't betray anyone. Then why were you in the record room? Why were you photographing documents? I was just trying to understand. Understanding is not your place. Obedience is. The aunt moved closer. The woman screamed. Emma clapped a hand over her mouth, bile rising. Then someone grabbed her from behind. She spun, heart exploding. One of the twins stood in the passageway, her face expressionless. You shouldn't be here, she whispered. Please, Emma started. Shh. The twin glanced down through the grill. If they hear you, you'll be next. Who is she? No one now. She failed. The twin took Emma's arm, pulling her back through the passage. Come, before they notice. Emma let herself be led back to the bedroom. The mirror closed silently. The twin finally looked at Emma, something like sympathy in her eyes. Don't be curious, she said. Curious wives don't last. She left, locking the door behind her. Emma collapsed on the floor, shaking uncontrollably. Morning came too fast. Dominic was already gone when Emma woke, but a note lay on his pillow. Mother wants to see you. Breakfast room. 9 a.m. Don't be late. Emma's hands trembled as she dressed. She had to run, had to escape. But how? The estate was a fortress. The cliff offered no exit. And if she tried to leave, they'd know. She was being watched. Always watched. At 8:55, she made her way to the breakfast room. Vivian sat alone at the head of the table, sipping coffee. "Sit," she said without looking up. Emma sat. "You were in the passages last night." Emma's heart stopped. Don't lie. We have eyes everywhere." Vivian set down her cup. "You saw something you shouldn't have." "I didn't mean to." "But you did. And now you understand what happens to wives who can't follow simple rules." She was just asking questions. Exactly. And questions lead to doubt. Doubt leads to betrayal. Betrayal leads to elimination. Vivian leaned forward. "Do you know why this family has survived for centuries? Because we cut out weakness before it spreads. You're monsters. We're survivors." Vivian's smile was terrifying. "And if you want to survive, you'll remember that curiosity is a disease here. One we cure permanently." Emma's voice shook. "What's my test?" "Ah, so Dominic told you." Vivian sat back. "Good. Honesty is important." "When?" "Soon. And if you pass, you'll become one of us, fully initiated, protected. And if I fail?" Vivian's expression didn't change. "Then we'll forget you were ever here." 3 days passed. Emma barely ate, barely slept. Dominic tried to reassure her, but his words felt hollow. On the 4th day, a card was slipped under her door. "Council room, tonight. 8 p.m. Come alone." Emma showed it to Dominic. His face went pale. "It's time," he whispered. "What do I do?" "Whatever they ask, no matter what." He gripped her arms. "Promise me. No matter what, you'll do what they ask." "Dominic. Promise me." "I promise." It was a lie. The council room was exactly as Emma had imagined. Circular, candlelit, suffocating. The family sat in a semicircle. Vivian at the center. The twins on either side. The 3 aunts behind them. And 2 other women Emma didn't recognize. All of them watching her with predatory focus. "Emma Ashford," Vivian began. "You've been with us for 2 weeks. In that time, you've displayed concerning behavior. Curiosity, defiance, questioning." Emma said nothing. "However," Vivian continued, "Dominic believes in your potential, so we're giving you a chance to prove your loyalty." One of the aunts placed a folder on the table in front of Emma. "Inside," Vivian said, "you'll find information about a woman named Sarah Chen. She worked for this family as an accountant. 6 months ago, she stole sensitive financial documents and fled." Emma opened the folder. A photograph showed an Asian woman in her 30s, smiling at the camera. "We need those documents back," Vivian said. "And we need her silence ensured." "What does that mean?" "It means you'll find her. You'll retrieve the documents. And you'll report her location to us. So you can kill her." The room went silent. Vivian's smile was razor thin. "We prefer neutralize the threat. But yes, essentially." "No." Emma closed the folder. "I won't do it." "Then you fail." "I don't care." One of the twins leaned forward. "You should care. Failure means you're a liability." "And liabilities," the other twin added, "are removed." Emma stood, her chair scraping against stone. "Then remove me. I'd rather die than become like you." Vivian laughed, a cold, brittle sound. "You think we'd kill you? How primitive." She gestured to the aunts. "Show her." One of the aunts opened a laptop, turning it to face Emma. On screen, a small apartment, a woman inside washing dishes. Catherine, Dominic's first wife. Emma's breath caught. "She's alive." "Of course she is," Vivian said. "Did you think we were murderers?" The aunt clicked to another window. A different apartment, another woman. Elise, the second wife. More clicks, more women, all alive, all in small, simple apartments. "They failed their tests," Vivian explained, "so they were removed from the family, given new identities, comfortable lives, but completely cut off from their old worlds. No contact with family, no friends, no social media, just existence. That's prison, Emma whispered. That's protection. For them and for us. Vivian closed the laptop. You see, we can't have failed wives, running around telling stories, so we isolate them. Permanently. Comfortably, but permanently. And if they try to leave, they won't. We make sure of that. Vivian's smile was cruel. Financial dependence, constant monitoring, and gentle reminders that their families are being watched too. Emma felt sick. You're holding them hostage. We're maintaining necessary boundaries. Now. Vivian stood. You have a choice. Complete the task, prove your loyalty, and become one of us. Or refuse and join the others in comfortable exile. Some choice. It's more than most get. Vivian moved to the door. You have until tomorrow night. Decide wisely. The family filed out, leaving Emma alone in the candlelit room. All except one twin. She approached Emma slowly. There's a third option. What? The twin pressed something into Emma's hand. A burner phone. Aunt Clara. She left 5 years ago. She failed deliberately. But before she did, she recorded evidence. Everything. She's been waiting for someone brave enough to use it. Why are you helping me? Because I'm tired of watching women disappear. The twin's voice cracked. My mother was a wife once. She didn't pass. I haven't seen her in 17 years. She left before Emma could respond. Emma looked at the phone. One number programmed in. She dialed. A woman answered on the first ring. Emma Ashford, I've been waiting for your call. The next 24 hours were a blur. Aunt Clara, Vivian's younger sister, exiled decades ago, walked Emma through everything. The family's legitimate businesses were fronts. Their wealth came from blackmail, extortion, and information brokering. The wives weren't just tested for loyalty, they were insurance policies. Women who could be leveraged, threatened, or disposed of as needed. And the tests were designed to break them. To turn them into accomplices or eliminate them as threats. But the evidence I gathered, Clara said over the phone, is enough to destroy them. Financial, records, recorded conversations, proof of illegal activity. I've been waiting for someone inside to help me release it. Why didn't you do it yourself? Because they're watching me. Any move I make, they'll know. But you're still inside. You have access. To what? Vivian's office, her personal computer. That's where she keeps the master files. Download them, send them to me, and I'll handle the rest. Emma's hands shook. If I do this, they'll know it was me. Yes, you'll need to run immediately. I have a car waiting 3 miles from the estate. Make it there, and you're free. And if I don't make it? Clara's silence was answer enough. Emma found Dominic in their room, staring out the window at the churning sea. I need to ask you something, she said. And I need the truth. He turned, his face haggard. Anything. Did you know? About what they really do? The blackmail, the extortion, all of it? Dominic's jaw clenched. Yes. And you still brought me here? I thought I could protect you. I thought... His voice broke. I thought if I found someone strong enough, they'd pass, and we could be happy. Happy? In a family of criminals? I didn't choose this family, Emma. I was born into it. This is all I know. Then leave with me. He looked at her like she'd suggested they fly. I can't. You can. We'll run together. They'll find us. They always do. He crossed to her, desperate. Just pass the test. Please. Do what they ask, and we can stay together. As what? Prisoners? As survivors. Emma pulled away. I can't become like them. Then you'll lose me. Tears streaked his face. Is that what you want? Emma's heart shattered. She loved him. Even now, even after everything, she loved him. But she loved herself more. I'm sorry, she whispered. She left him standing there, broken. At midnight, Emma crept through the silent estate. She'd memorized the route to Vivian's office. West wing, third floor, behind the portrait of the family, patriarch. The door was locked, but the pin trick worked again. Inside, the office was pristine. Mahogany desk, leather chairs, and a computer on a side table. Emma booted it up. Password protected. She tried the obvious ones. Nothing worked. Then she remembered the family tree. The first matriarch's name. Adelaide, 1847. The computer unlocked. Emma's hands flew over the keyboard, searching for the master files. She found folders labeled by year, each containing hundreds of documents. She plugged in a flash drive and started downloading. The door opened. Vivian stood in the entrance, flanked by the twins. I had a feeling you'd make the wrong choice, she said calmly. Emma's hand hovered over the keyboard. Stay back. Or what? You'll expose us? Vivian stepped inside. That flash drive is empty, Emma. We switched it this morning. Emma yanked it out. The drive was blank. Did you really think we wouldn't know? Vivian shook her head. We've been watching you since Clara made contact. That phone? We allowed it. This moment? We planned for it. Emma's world tilted. No. You failed the test, but not the way you think. Vivian smiled. The test wasn't about Sarah Chen. It was about this. Whether you'd betray the family when given the chance. And you did. The twins moved forward, their hands reaching for Emma. She bolted, shoving past them, running into the hallway. Footsteps thundered behind her. Voices shouted orders. Emma ran blindly, taking turns at random, searching for an exit. Any exit. She burst into a room she didn't recognize, and stopped. Dominic sat at a desk, watching her on a series of monitors. Every room, every hallway, hundreds of cameras. You were watching, Emma breathed. I'm always watching. He stood slowly. It's my job, security chief. I monitor everyone who enters this estate. You set me up. I tried to save you. His voice was hollow. I begged you to pass, to just do what they asked, but you couldn't. Because it's wrong. Wrong. Doesn't matter here. Survival does. He moved toward her. I love you, Emma, but I can't help you now. The door burst open. Vivian, the twins, and the aunts flooded in. It's over. Emma backed against the wall, trapped. Then she noticed the window behind her. 10 stories up, overlooking the cliff. She could jump, die free, or surrender and live as a ghost. Don't, Dominic whispered, reading her intention. Emma looked at him one last time. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to save you. She turned and ran at the window. Strong hands grabbed her, pulling her back. Dominic held her as she screamed and thrashed. Sedate her, Vivian ordered. One of the aunts approached with a needle. Emma felt the prick, the burning sensation spreading through her veins. The world went dark. 3 months later, Emma woke in a small apartment. Clean, comfortable, empty. A note lay on the coffee table. You have everything you need. Don't try to leave. We're watching. If you cooperate, your family stays safe. She crumpled the note, tears streaming down her face. On the wall, a calendar. Each day crossed off. 93 days. And counting. 6 months later, Emma had stopped crying. Emma stopped fighting. Stopped hoping. She woke, ate, stared at walls, slept. Then one morning, an envelope appeared under her door. Inside was a single photograph. Dominic, standing outside a church. A woman in white beside him. Another wedding. Another wife. Emma's hands trembled as she flipped the photo over. Written on the back in Vivian's elegant script. He tried to choose differently this time. Let's hope she's smarter than you were. Something inside Emma fractured, then reformed. Harder. She looked around her prison, comfortable, monitored, inescapable. Unless... Emma walked to the bathroom and stared at her reflection. Thinner, paler, broken, but not dead. She pressed her hand against the mirror's edge and pushed. It didn't budge. She tried the frame. Nothing. Then she remembered. The estates had hidden passages. Maybe this place did too. Emma spent the next week examining every wall, every panel, every corner. On the 8th day, she found it. Behind the bedroom closet, a seam in the wall, barely visible. She worked her fingernails into it until they bled. Finally, something clicked. A narrow panel swung open, revealing dusty darkness. Emma grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen drawer and stepped inside. The passage twisted downward, ancient and forgotten. Cobwebs caught in her hair. The air tasted of rust and decay. She followed it for what felt like hours until she reached a metal door. It was locked, but the mechanism was old, corroded. Emma kicked it. Once, twice. On the third kick, the lock shattered. The door swung open onto an alley. Rain poured from a gray sky. Freedom. Emma ran. 2 weeks later, she'd made it to the city, changed her appearance, found work under a fake name at a diner where no one asked questions. But she couldn't stop thinking about the photograph. Another woman. Another victim. Emma couldn't save herself, but maybe she could save her. Late one night, after her shift, Emma used the diner's computer. She'd been careful not to access anything traceable, but tonight she broke her own rule. She searched. Dominic Ashford marriage. A society page appeared. Photos of the wedding. The bride's name, Sophie Reeves, age 24. Graphic designer. Young. Innocent. Doomed. Emma stared at Sophie's smiling face in the photos. She looked so happy, so oblivious, just like Emma had been. She couldn't let it happen again. Emma found Sophie's social media, public, unguarded. She worked at a design firm downtown, liked coffee at a specific cafe every morning. Emma had a choice: stay hidden, stay safe, and let another woman disappear, or risk everything to warn her. 3 days later, Emma waited outside the cafe, hood pulled up, hands shaking. She'd practiced what she'd say, rehearsed it 100 times. But when Sophie walked out, laughing into her phone, radiant with newlywed joy, the words died in Emma's throat. Sophie was already trapped. Emma followed her anyway, keeping distance, watching. Sophie walked 3 blocks to her office, building. Before entering, she paused at a crosswalk. Emma moved closer. "Sophie," she said quietly. The woman turned, confused. "Do I know you?" "No, but you need to listen to me." Emma's voice was urgent, desperate. "Your husband's family. They're dangerous. You need to leave before—" "I'm sorry. Who are you?" Sophie's expression shifted from confusion to alarm. She stepped back. "Stay away from me. Please, just listen." "I'm calling security." Sophie pulled out her phone. Emma saw the black sedan pull up before Sophie did. 2 men emerged. Large. Professional. Family security. They'd been watching Sophie, which meant they knew Emma had found her. Emma turned and ran. Behind her, she heard Sophie's voice, confused. "What's happening? Who was that woman?" One of the men spoke into a radio. "Target confirmed. Emma Ashford. Initiating retrieval." Emma ran faster than she ever had. Through alleys, across streets, into crowds. But they were trained. She was desperate. They cornered her in a parking garage. Emma grabbed a piece of broken glass, holding it out like a weapon. Stay back. The lead security officer held up his hands. Mrs. Ashford, we're not going to hurt you. Mrs. Vivian wants to speak with you. I'm not going back. You don't have a choice. I'll scream. I'll tell everyone. Tell them what? That you're a mentally unstable woman who abandoned her husband? That you've been stalking his new wife? The officer's smile was cold. We have documentation. Medical records showing your breakdown. Multiple witnesses who will testify to your erratic behavior. You won't be believed. Emma's hand shook. The glass cut into her palm, blood dripping. Please, she whispered. Just let me go. Can't do that. You know too much, and you've proven you'll interfere. He gestured to his partner. Take her. Emma slashed with the glass. The officer blocked it, twisting her wrist until she dropped the shard. She was dragged to the sedan, thrown in the back seat. As they drove away, Emma caught one last glimpse of Sophie standing on the sidewalk, talking to the other security officer. He was smiling, reassuring her, lying to her, just like they'd lied to Emma. The estate, they brought her back at night. The Gothic spires pierced the darkness like accusations. Emma was led through familiar hallways to a room she'd never seen, deep in the estate's core, windowless, soundproof. Vivian waited inside, seated in a high-backed chair. Emma, how disappointing. She gestured to a chair across from her. Sit. Emma remained standing. Vivian sighed. I gave you a comfortable life, safety, security. All I asked was silence. You asked for my soul. Dramatic. Vivian stood, circling Emma slowly. Do you know what happens now? Now that you've proven you can't be trusted? You'll kill me. Still so simplistic. Vivian stopped in front of her. Death is easy. Imprisonment is lazy. No, we have something better. She snapped her fingers. The door opened. One of the ants entered, carrying a metal case. We've refined our methods over the years, Vivian explained. The early exiles were problematic. Women harboring resentment, waiting for chances to speak out, like Clara. The ant opened the case, revealing syringes and medical equipment. So we developed a solution, Vivian continued. A pharmaceutical cocktail, completely legal, prescribed for severe dissociative disorders. It doesn't kill. It doesn't harm. It just erases. Emma's blood turned to ice. What? Memory suppression. Identity dissolution. Within 6 months, you'll forget the family, the estate, Dominic, everything. You'll forget you were ever Emma Ashford. Vivian's smile was grotesque. You'll be someone new, someone harmless, someone who asks no questions. You can't. We can, and we have. 23 times, in fact. All the wives who failed and couldn't be trusted in exile. Now they live simple lives, happy even, working menial jobs, dating unremarkable men, completely oblivious to what they once knew. The ant approached with a syringe. Emma backed against the wall. Please, please don't do this. It's painless. You won't even remember being afraid. Vivian nodded to the ant. Strong hands grabbed Emma from behind. Security had entered without her noticing. She thrashed, screamed, fought with everything she had. The needle pierced her skin. Fire spread through her veins. No! Emma's voice was raw. You can't. I'll tell. Someone will. No one will believe you, Vivian said softly. No one ever does. The world began to blur. Emma's thoughts scattered like birds fleeing a storm. She tried to hold on to something, anything, her name, her face, her history, but it all slipped away like water through desperate fingers. The last thing she saw before unconsciousness took her was Vivian's satisfied smile. 9 months later, a woman sat at a diner counter, refilling salt shakers. Her name tag read, Jane. She couldn't remember her last name. The doctors said that was normal after the accident. Traumatic brain injury. Memory loss. She was lucky to be alive. Sometimes she had dreams, dark houses, mirrors everywhere. A man's face she couldn't quite see. But they were just dreams. Probably. The bell above the door chimed. A young woman entered, pretty, nervous, eyes red from crying. She sat at the counter. "Just coffee, please." Jane poured a cup. "Rough day?" The woman laughed bitterly. "Rough year. I think I made a mistake." "What kind of mistake?" "I got married too fast, to a man I barely knew. And his family—" She trailed off, shaking her head. "They're so intense. So many rules. I feel like I'm being watched all the time." Something flickered in Jane's mind. A memory that wasn't quite a memory. Doors that lock, mirrors everywhere. Women who disappear. She pushed it away. Just dreams. "Marriage is hard," Jane said automatically. "Give it time." The woman nodded, but she looked haunted. "His mother gave me this." She pulled out a leather-bound book. "Family history I'm supposed to memorize, like it's a test or something." Jane froze. The book looked familiar. Impossibly familiar. "What's your name?" Jane heard herself ask. "Sophie. Sophie Ashford." The world tilted. Jane's hand trembled as she set down the coffee pot. "Ashford?" "Yeah. Do you know the family?" Jane's mind was screaming. Fragments of memory trying to surface. A Gothic estate. A man's hands. A woman saying, "Do not trust the women." I don't." Jane pressed her palms to her temples. "I can't. Are you okay?" "No." The word came out broken. "You need to leave. That family. You need to run." Sophie's eyes widened. "How do you know?" "I don't know how I know, but you're in danger. They'll test you, and if you fail—" Jane grabbed Sophie's hand. "Please, you have to believe me." Sophie pulled away, frightened. "I think you need help." She dropped money on the counter and fled. Jane stood alone, her head pounding. Memories fighting against chemicals that kept them buried. She looked at her reflection in the diner's window. Who was she? What had they done to her? And how many others were out there? Erased, forgotten, living half-lives while the family continued its cycle? Jane pulled out her phone with shaking hands. She didn't know who to call. Didn't remember anyone who might help. But one name echoed in the fragments of her mind. Clara. She Googled it. Clara Ashford. Nothing. She tried. Clara Ashford exile. A Reddit thread appeared. Years old. Someone asking about a woman who'd left a powerful family and disappeared. One comment. Downvoted to obscurity. "She's alive. I've met her. She's been collecting evidence for decades. If you need help escaping them, there's a way to reach her." A link to an encrypted email. Jane's fingers hovered over it. She could ignore this. Go back to her simple life. Let the chemicals do their work. Or she could fight. Even if she didn't remember why. She clicked the link and started typing. "My name is Jane. I think it used to be something else. I think I know about the Ashford family. And I think there's another woman who needs help. Please, if you're real, if you're reading this, tell me how to stop them." She hit send before she could change her mind. Then she waited. 3 hours later, during her closing shift, her phone buzzed. One new message from an unknown number. "Emma. Your name was Emma. And yes, I can help you remember. But you need to decide. Do you want to know what they took from you? Because once you remember, you can never go back to being Jane. Reply yes or no." Emma, Jane, whoever she was, stared at the message. Her finger hovered over the keyboard. In the window's reflection, she saw a stranger wearing her face. She typed, "Yes. Welcome to Afro-Korean Story Vault Lovelies. This story doesn't end here. If you need to know what happens when Emma remembers everything, when she finds the others, they've erased when she finally burns the Ashford family to the ground, subscribe now." Because the final chapter will destroy you. Hit that bell. You won't want to miss the reckoning.